Hi boys and girls, it's Mrs. Torres. Today I'm going to show you guys how to do a painting for our multicultural night. I'm going to be showing you guys some different painting techniques and how to mix some skin color for your painting. Now, if you don't have paint or you want to use something else, you're welcome to use anything that you have at home, crayons, markers, whatever it is that you want to use. Just feel free to fast forward or rewind or pause the video during any time. All right, thank you. To begin, you're going to take a pencil and you're going to trace your hand on each side of your canvas. So you can do this or you can have a parent help you do this. Now, when you're tracing it, you want to trace it so that you can make sure that your hand has your thumb facing down on both sides. And when you have it out, you can try to make sure that your wrist is extended a little bit so that you can fit your whole hand onto the canvas and your fingertips should be touching. Now, depending on the size of the canvas, it might look like your hands are a little bit closer or a little bit further away from each other. In between the hands, you're going to draw a heart inside between where the hands and the thumbs are. So when you're drawing the heart, you want to think of drawing 2 sideways candy canes. Next, on a plate or a palette, you're going to start adding some paint. So we're going to start with adding some red. Then we're going to add a little bit of blue. And then we're going to add some yellow. Those are your primary colors that we're going to use to begin with. And then if you have additional colors like black, we're going to add that. We're also going to need some white paint if you have some of that. And I like to use quite a bit of white, so I like to put it in the biggest spot, sometimes in the middle. And then after the white, if you have any brown, it's good to use some brown. And I also like to add some of a peach color as well if possible. But if you don't have that, that's fine too. But you'll need a paintbrush and a container of water. I'm going to start by painting my background color. Now you can choose any color that you have on your palette, or you can choose to mix a color. I chose to make a purple by using my blue paint, my red paint, and some white paint. So on my palette, I'm going to mix these colors together to give me a pretty purple color. And then I'm going to start painting my canvas. Now, in between when I'm mixing the colors together, I like to wash my brush off so that I don't get my paint colors too messy. The first layer of paint that I put on the canvas is called the underpainting, or you could just call it the first layer. So a lot of times you're going to need more than one layer of paint. So I'm going to cover the canvas with my first color going around my outlines that I have made for the hands and the heart. I like to cover the whole canvas with one layer of the paint before I start in a new area. So next I'm going to mix some white with my red paint to make a pink. So anytime you add white to a color, it's called a tint. So I'm going to make pink to color in my heart. Anytime you're done with a color and you plan to use a new color, make sure to wash your brush off completely. Next, I'm going to get started on painting the darker skin tone. So if you have a brown, then you can choose to use the brown and start filling in the first layer or underpainting of that hand. If you do not have a brown, then you can make one by mixing equal parts of your red, blue, and yellow paint. Next, I'm going to get started on painting the lighter skin tone. Now, like I said before, you can make a brown color by mixing equal parts of your red, blue, and your yellow paint. And we call those colors primary colors. So every skin tone has a little bit of red hues, yellow hues, and blue hues in it. And you're just going to kind of keep mixing those colors together until you get kind of a dark brown. And then once you have a brownish color, you're going to take some white and you're going to add that in to your brown to make a lighter skin color. Once you have your light skin tone all mixed up, and you want to make sure you have a good amount of it that you can use for a second layer of paint. But once you have that skin color all mixed up, you're going to start layering that in the second hand. And you're going to try your best to try and stay inside the lines if you can. If you get out a little bit, that's okay. Paint is very forgiving. Now, once I'm done painting my first layer of paints, I'm going to end up going in and painting 1 or 2 layers after that to make sure that it's solid. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to take a skinny liner brush and use a darker version of the skin tone and go around the fingers to outline them a little bit so that they really stand out and you can see the fingers. You can easily make a darker version for your shadows and the lining of the hands by adding a little bit of black paint to the skin color paint that you used. So if you used brown for the darker color hand, then you could take a little bit of black paint and add it to the brown paint to make it just a little bit darker so that you can add in some lines around the hands just so that the fingers really start to stick out. And then for your lighter color hand, you're gonna take some black and mix that in with your light colored skin color and add some of the lines onto your lighter skin tone as well. Sometimes your hand can feel a little bit uncomfortable when you are trying to line a painting because you feel like your hand can't touch the canvas. But if you move your canvas around, or if you have a spot that's dry on the canvas, then it's okay to set your hand down while you're lining so it doesn't feel uncomfortable or it doesn't start to hurt or cramp your hand while you're painting. Next, I want to add a little bit of depth into the heart by mixing some white in with that pink paint that's on top, making it kind of look like that heart is really glowing and shining bright. Once you're done with your heart, you can do something which is called wrapping the sides of the canvas, which means you're going to take the colors that you see on the front of the canvas and have them wrap around to the sides. So I'm going to take some of my purple paint and I'm going to paint that along the side edges of the canvas, so that once it's hanging up on the wall, it looks like it's really finished. If you don't want to do this part, you don't have to. You can skip it. But I like to do this. I think it makes it look nice when it's hanging up. And not only do I use the purple for the purple parts, but I'll also take some of the skin color and paint that in where it would wrap around on the canvas as well. I hope that you all enjoyed painting with us tonight, and please send in a picture of your finished work to your teacher. Thank you.